Have you ever wondered how to seek self-discovery while climbing a mountain? Do you dream of pushing your limits and finding inner peace above 3,000 meters? Are you looking for a deep, life-changing connection with nature? Then this video is exactly what you do not need to watch. Because this guy did none of that. He looked at a mountain and thought, yeah, I should probably do a handstand up there. In this video, witness a completely unnecessary collection of handstands on 8 spectacular Dolomite peaks, along with a very serious, highly scientific rating system. So sit back, relax and watch. Number 1. Tofana di Mezzo. Standing tall at 3,244 meters, Tofana di Mezzo is a true giant of the Dolomites. A peak that demands endurance, strength, and if the cable car is running, absolutely none of those things. But if you choose to climb there without any means, a stunning Via Ferrata takes you to the top in 5 to 6 hours. The true highlight of this adventure? A cliff edge along the way at 2,980 meters that serves as a scenic checkpoint. The Ferrata climb is rated CD, so we give it an overall difficulty level of 6 out of 10. The risk factor is 3 out of 10 since throughout all dangerous parts you can secure yourself on the iron cable. When the cable car is open, the peak feels like an influencer convention with a tourist level of 9 out of 10. But when it's closed, almost no one is there, bringing it down to a 1 out of 10. Number 2. Tofana di Rozes. At 3,225 meters, Tofana di Rozes is one of the most iconic peaks in the Dolomites. Reaching the summit takes anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. The easy 3-hour hike is a scenic, straightforward path where no climbing gear or technical skills are required. In other words, an actual child could probably do it. The more difficult route takes you through a spectacular Via Ferrata on the west side, featuring an amphitheater-like wall, guaranteed to make you feel like a gladiator, minus the cheering crowd and plus a mild fear of heights. It also includes a wonderfully sketchy cliff edge, perfect for pulling a handstand. The difficulty level of the hike is 2 out of 10 and 7 out of 10 for the Ferrata route. If you manage to hurt yourself on the easy hike, that's on you, so 1 out of 10 for the risk factor. The Ferrata route is not exactly a death trap, but let's just say you'll think twice before looking down. So here 4 out of 10 for the risk factor. Since there's no hut or cable car at the top, you won't find hordes of flip-flop wearing tourists here, but you'll still see a decent number of people, which means 5 out of 10 for the tourist level. Number 3. Monte Pelmo. Also known as the Throne of the Gods, Monte Pelmo at 3,168 meters is one of the most stunning and remote peaks in the Dolomites. There's only one path to the top. The journey takes anywhere from 4.5 to 6 hours, depending on your level of fitness. The best part of the journey is this 1,000-meter vertical cliff edge waiting for you just below the peak. A scenic reminder that one misstep could turn your hike into a very short flight. The path is technically not that hard, which is what they say right before you realize technical doesn't mean safe, which gives it a 5 out of 10 for the difficulty level. Since there is about an hour spent carefully tiptoeing across a narrow exposed ledge, where hugging the mountain will become your favorite new hobby, the risk factor is 7 out of 10. No hut and no cable ensures that it is only you, the mountain, and a serious leg workout, so the tourist level gets a 2 out of 10. Number 4. Piz Boè. At 3,152 meters, Piz Boè proudly holds the title of easiest 3,000-meter peak in the Dolomites, which is just a polite way of saying you don't actually have to suffer that much to get here. For those who like their adventure with minimal effort, there's even a cable car that takes you most of the way up, making this possibly the only 3,000-meter peak where you'll see an alarming number of tiny dogs. Getting to the top takes anywhere from 1.5 to 3 hours. The highlight is the epic 360-degree view on the peak. Technically a mountain, but also feels like a very steep nature walk, so 2 out of 10 for the difficulty level. The biggest danger? Tripping over someone's backpack and starting a human avalanche, which means 2 out of 10 for the risk factor and 9 out of 10 for the tourist level. Number 5. Cima Pisciadù. At 2,985 meters, Cima Pisciadù is a beautiful peak in the Dolomites with breathtaking views stretching for miles. The most famous route is the Via Ferrata, which includes ladders and a suspension bridge that make you feel like an action movie star or a complete idiot depending on your comfort with heights. It takes about 2.5 hours of climbing Via Ferrata, followed by another 1 to 1.5 hours of hiking, making the total journey 3.5 to 4 hours to the peak, depending on how long you spend clinging to the rock, pretending you're just enjoying the view. A moderate Via Ferrata gives it a difficulty level of 4 out of 10. Being clipped into cables most of the time means the risk factor is just 3 out of 10. With a stunning turquoise alpine lake on the way and a mountain hut right next to it, expect at least 3 people live streaming their lunch while you're catching your breath, so the tourist levels gets an 8 out of 10. If you want some solitude, come off season when the hut is closed. Number 6. Punta Sud di Fanes. At 2,980 meters, Punta Sud di Fanes is one of those peaks that doesn't get as much attention as its Dolomite neighbors. An 1.5 hour hike followed by around 2 hours of Via Ferrata means you'll reach the summit in about 3.5 hours. The route Tomaselli is often considered a maturity exam for Via Ferrata climbers. Despite this reputation, it only has a difficulty rating of 6 out of 10. The risk factor is 6 out of 10 too. Not so much because of the Ferrata itself, but more due to the steep descent, where loose rocks are just waiting to take you for a ride. Since it's not as famous as some other peaks, you might get some solitude, so the tourist level is 3 out of 10. Number 7. Sassongher. Standing at 2,665 meters, Sassongher is the undisputed king of the Corvara skyline, and one of those mountains that looks way harder to climb than it actually is. Unlike some Dolomite peaks that demand technical skills, steel nerves, and a handwritten will, Sassongher only requires strong legs and decent endurance. The journey to the summit takes about 3 to 4 hours. Most of the route is a steep but manageable hike, passing by cliffs, perfect for an "it looks like I'm a real mountaineer" selfie or a casual handstand. If crosses had their own red carpet event, the one on Sassongher would absolutely win. It stands proudly at the top like it knows it's photogenic. A steep but friendly hike gives it a difficulty level of 2 out of 10, and the risk factor is also 2 out of 10. Although there is no hut or cable car, a decent number of hikers gather there during the main season, including influencers pretending they found this place. So tourist level is 7 out of 10. And finally, number 8. Monte Averau. Standing at 2,649 meters, Monte Averau is the highest peak in the Nouveau Lau group, and let's be honest, one of the easiest summits you'll ever bag. Unlike other Dolomite peaks that demand grueling ascents and survival instincts, it is mercifully straightforward, making it the perfect mountain for those who want incredible views without actually suffering. Reaching the summit takes only about an hour if you take your time and stroll. In fact, it's so easy you could do it before breakfast, which is convenient because there's a mountain hut just below the summit where you can reward yourself for your effort. A very short Via Ferrata gives it a difficulty level of 2 out of 10, while the risk factor is also 2 out of 10, about as low as it gets in the Dolomites. And as you might have guessed, since it's easily accessible, requires minimal effort, and has a mountain hut next to it, it translates to selfie stick battleground status with a tourist level of 8 out of 10. If you want to avoid the crowds, then go before sunrise and you will have a rare moment of solitude and these stunning views you see here. If you've made it this far, you clearly have endurance. Now let's see if you have the strength to lift a finger and leave a like or a comment. So see you next time.